So this example does demonstrate the specific use of those enumeration type, and obviously comparison by double equal sign works very well with enumerations, and we can use them. Just like other types, other types created by classes, we can have a method here where we can say, I don't know, private static void use shipping type, right? Just to make a demonstration, and here I can pass the shipping type as a parameter, shipping type as a parameter to a method, right? Create a method which takes this as a parameter, and then I can, inside this method, I can do whatever I need. So for instance, if I wanted to call this method, I can do it with by doing use shipping type and pass my type that I already have as a parameter, right? So of course I need the semicolon because it's just another statement here, right? So this is an example where here we'll just say use shipping type. Okay, so that's possible. Now, in other situation, I would like to pass an ordinal value directly. Like I have an integer and I want to pass it to this method. So there will be an error because it's gonna say something about incompatible types if I try building it, right? So if I intentionally try this, it says, yes, it says incompatible types the value cannot be converted to the shipping type. So let's see if we could make this happen. If it's still something, if we still do have this intention, right? Maybe we can use constructor syntax here to say, let's construct the shipping type from this particular integer. So what does that say? Cannot find method. Let me see. Shipping type. Value of values. Yeah, I don't think I would find a possible solution of this. This just forces me to use the a specific type, right? So I can't really use an integer in place of this particular argument. So I really I'm stuck with using the type. Okay, so that's fine. That's just part of the idea, to enforce using named constants. And of course, type is being declared explicitly as shipping type. It was initialized, and therefore, you know, I can go from there. All right. So that is fine. That is perhaps natural to use a shipping type as a regular type. Just remember, whenever you create an object of enumeration type, remember not to use new. You don't have to use new. Like using new would be a syntax error, right? So you don't say new. You don't do something like that, right? But perhaps we can just give it one more try just to exhaust the possibilities here. If I just wanted to give another try, if I said new shipping type, and try initialize it with the ordinal value, right? Even if I try something like this, that still doesn't like it, right? So it still is not going to like it. So this is not possible. What's possible, however, is to pass the shipping type to a method which is expecting a shipping type. Okay, so what else can we say about the enumeration? Enumeration is a relatively, straightforward concept to enforce using enforce using the name constants. So the two methods of an enumerations are one we already saw, which is an ordinal. Another one is the name. So for example, in our shipping type function, we can say system.out.print, right? Print line maybe, and print SP, which is the shipping type, sp.name, right? So it returns the name of this enum constant exactly as declared in its enum declaration. So you have access to that. Okay, so we do, if we try running this, so here, validator, where's this, let me just remove some of this code. So if I initialize it as a UPS second day, then my if statement will work and I will invoke the method, right? So let's just do this again. So UPS second day is the string, which is the name of the constant, and it just gets displayed this way. Okay, so you have access to the actual name of enumeration, and it basically turns the constant name into a string like this if you happen to have an enumerated value of that particular value. Okay, that's fine. So what else can we do? There is a method toString, which is common across all Java classes. Of course, we know that this method is inherited from the object class, right? And in our enumeration, we can modify the toString to basically select what we want to do. For instance, let's just give this a try. Basically, this is where I would say my choice actually would be for this, for the shipping type. I would say, okay, if we wanted to modify toString, right? So typically override, because this is something declared at the object level, public string toString, okay, and it doesn't take any parameters. And this is where I would say maybe public string toString, okay, so maybe this is where I would say let's one thing to modify here. The syntax is unhappy, because if we keep adding methods to our enumeration, we now have to add the semicolon over here. We need to use the semicolon. All right, so to convert this to string, what we do is that I would say switch, right? Switch, and we can take this to refer to the actual instance of enumerated constant on which we were invoking the toString, right? So this ordinal, we can extract the ordinal. This would be a very useful place to extract the ordinal, and we can then use our case labels to, to basically what would we do for case 0, what we do for case 1, and what we do for case 2, and we can also do the default, right? This would be another possibility, and we just can simply say return 0 is next day, right? So we can define our own meaning for these constants when we try to use them as to convert them to a string, to display them, right? So let's just do this. and I can simply say unknown. Number 2 is ground service, right? And second day service, right? I could do that, and next day service, right? So for convenience, to keep the code closely associated with known constants declared inside the enumeration, you can override methods that you would typically override for your class. So this time, if I go to main app, I can print line the name, which basically just gives me access to the name of the enumeration, but I also can convert the value of the shipping type variable, which was passed to this specific method, directly and convert it to string immediately. So if I run this, you can see that it prints UPS second day, but then the second line here says just convert this to string. Of course, print line always tells the object to string, convert it to string, and when I convert it to string, I get my my toString override, which we've provided inside our enumeration, and we customized, or we override the just close all of these running instances of application, and we just provided this this specific method, so we converted it. And this is like, you know, switch would be very appropriate here, because we're dealing with those ordinal values, which are very predictable, and we know what they are. Okay, now if I wanted to replace 0 with UPS next day, right, then this isn't gonna work, but I think I can say ordinal here. Can I? No. Probably you just stuck with a specific value. I really don't know how to make it more generic. So just this, okay? What else can we do with enumeration which would be useful? So just remember that if you do something like that, you need the semicolon after the declaration of the actual constants. toString example, so we just use this to make it even friendlier, and that's very much similar to what we just did. And with enumeration, we can use static import statement, but there is another piece that I'd like to demonstrate with respect to enumerations, which is not part of this handout, but if you want to, if you need to alter 0, 1, and 2, you can do that as well with your enumeration, and that's something that I'd like to demonstrate.